been kind of ill, but I'm a bit better now. My antibiotics. I ask that you please forgive me if I start to sniffle or cough or sneeze or whatever. I'll try to edit it out if I have to. But I really want to talk about MySQL and a few things I've changed about this class. I'm going to hurry it up. And what I would like to do is make sure that a lot of the lessons are going to be more bite-sized, because I know that perhaps I may be weighing on people's attention span, and I don't really mean to do that. So first, I'm going to go and take a look at what we have in our Dropbox together. Just going to outline a few things that you may have seen or you may not have seen, depending on whether or not you were looking at the Dropbox. I did update the syllabus, so let me just tell you what it means by going over it with you together. And I am going to just, basically read what the wording is and explain how it's any different from what you had previously. So once again, this is spring 2020, and the syllabus has been revised, as you should see here. Okay, so the changes for the semester, I have this bold part right here. Let me just blow it up a bit more. I'll take it full screen and then blow it up. So questions for this class can be posted to an email forum, CISC3810-DBA@googlegroups.com. Office hours will be conducted electronically using Google Hangouts. My screen name will be SilverSurfer Online, my usual email name. In addition to the Dropbox link, I'm forwarding also at the beginning of the class. So there will also be a blog there to kind of keep you up to date. So you now have the Dropbox, you have Google Groups to ask any questions that you need to ask, and you also have a blog. I'll be writing like small pieces of articles rather than full-fledged articles, but that's basically the only thing that's really changed. The final exam will be 30%, exams is 20%, projects, homework 50%, that type of thing. So, now that you know, it's not too bad, all right? So, that's basically what we have. Now, there's a couple of new files I hope you'll be looking at. One of them is this one right here. It's MySQL MariaDB Reference Manual. The reason why I posted this here is because hopefully you'll be able to look through it yourself and actually read about the SQL language in full. All right. Now, one thing I should tell you is that MySQL really seems to favor the grammar of ISO 92. That's pretty old. There is an ISO 2017 last I checked. So, hopefully you will be able to stay up to date. However, what I should tell you is that in the case of different database management systems, they're going to have their own compliances. Postgres has its own, H2 has its own, HyperSQL has its own, Oracle has another. Let's see, I believe there's one called Firebird, Ingress, which Postgres was taken from. Let's see, there's also some that mimic SQL, but they're not necessarily SQL. So things like Cassandra, they also take after SQL. There are also things such as Engine that is used in the Apache group of databases. You also have Apache Derby. You have Java DB. You have quite a few others. Well, let's just move forward just a little bit more. So in this particular reference manual, you'll notice that it's the same pretty much as MySQL. The reason why is that MariaDB was created by the same people who made MySQL. They moved on from MySQL into MariaDB and decided to make new open source MySQL drop-in replacements that would take what Oracle was having others pay for, and instead for its own part, they will be giving those things away for free. So that's basically the difference between MariaDB and MySQL. It's not a lot of difference, all right? That is what I wanted to talk about with this particular file right here. I'll also have some other files that you can read as well. For instance, I do have this one about relational variables in SQL. The reason why I wanted to talk about relational variables in SQL is that they are not well explained in the book, all right? So it's important that I explain it. That way you can understand it. A relational variable, quite simply, is anything that can hold data. So we have structures in SQL. They can hold data. Columns hold data. Tables hold data. Tables then form into databases, which also hold data. And then there's data warehouses and so forth. So those are your examples of relational variables. But you're also going to have some other relational variables, and we haven't really discussed them much. In fact, we have not discussed certain relational variables at all. So that's what I'm going to be talking about in the relational variable part of the lesson that is entitled or titled Relational Variables. The one that I really want to discuss right off the bat is views, because it's really easy to understand views once you've done tables, which you guys have done quite a bit. All right. So that's going to be one of my first lessons. A later lesson, which will be coming up very shortly, will be one on schema. I really like schema, and I'm glad that I started to include it in this course because it's really, how can I say it? It's a utility unlike any other. It allows you to put things in their proper place even when you know that things will overlap or be mistaken for one another. So I really like going over schema. Now, another thing I did previously, I talked about different types of queries, and I tried to talk about more advanced queries and also unions and union compatibilities. And I want to make sure that you guys know what that stuff means. I also want to be able to have that handy for when we start to talk about something called joins, all right? So that's what you can expect coming up, and I'm going to try to make bite-sized tutorials. That way they can be easier understood. However, that doesn't mean that it won't take you, I guess, maybe a good hour to get really used to using these things. There'll be some exercises, that way you can do them on your own. And, you know, from there, we will be taking it piece by piece, depending on what type of feedback I get from you guys, all right? I will like to do, when I know I will not be sniffling so badly, an actual live chat. That way we can do things, you know, in real time. So right now I'm just going to pre-record things, and I'm going to put them onto our YouTube channel entitled code.imitating.life. All right, that's my YouTube channel that I'll be dedicating to this. So do look for CISC3810 Intro to Databases. We'll be talking about it shortly. Thanks again, guys, and I will be speaking to you later in the next tutorial. Bye.